Welcome Ajax fans, another GameTalk Heerenveen 0 Ajax 2. Today with me, Mohammad, Karud. Mohammad, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How about you, Mohammad?
Great. What did you think of the game? Did you like it?
I think, we should be happy we got the 3 points ahead of Dortmund's game next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that was the most important thing of today's game. However, we had some, those sloppy moments, especially in the second half, which Ten Hag should be aware of, especially, in the next game in the Champions League, because you can't have those, moments against, a team like Dortmund, because you will definitely be punished. So I think all in all, it's 3 points and I should be satisfied.
I totally agree on the Dortmund thing. In the second half, we did get a lot of counterattacks against us, and it showed very open in defense on the defensive side. I want to ask you something about that because we were discussing it with Sahbi, and Blind was a topic on the defensive side, but also on the offensive side. I will come back to that later. Let's first start with the team. It was a different starting team because we had some players from South America coming in late. Anthony Martinez Alvarez, also with Mexico, wasn't available. What did you think of the guys that came in, Mohammad?
Okay, so that was very much expected, the formation we have seen today, because of those players who still came very late from the international duties. So I believe, the most, or the good thing that I have seen today is that we have seen Kudus again back in the starting 11, because, Kudus still needs those playing minutes, and he needs to be starting more often. So that was quite well for the player to regain the confidence. And
what did you think of his performance?
I think he started really well. At the beginning of the game, he started really well. He was controlling the ball really well, and he was trying to make those, dribbles and then making those passes. But he was, I can't be critical on Kudus because he still lacked the rhythm of the games. And I think he did really well today. But despite some moments of the game where he was trying to do the hard things rather than doing the easy things, and that was an overall critic to the whole team because they have missed many chances where they could have finished easily. So yeah, again, I think it was good, but what I was not happy that Ten Hag, he decided to take him off. That was quite surprising for me because it was the most suitable time for Kudus to play a 90 minutes. However, maybe I may attribute this to the reason that Kudus has played 2 full games during the international break, and maybe Ten Hag is thinking to rest him a little bit, maybe just as a precautionary measure for yeah, exactly, because we have seen the history of the injuries that Kudus has been through. So maybe that was Ten Hag, let's say, a decision that was why did he decided to do so. So I think the team started really well, and we put so much pressure on the front. Tadic was like he was playing as usual. He was he was very dynamic when it comes to making assets and making the link ups. And Blend, we have to give credits to Blend offensively because he played those deep passes and those deep assists that made really big difference in breaking the lines. So I think in the first half what I didn't like the most is about Haller. He wasn't efficient. Aside from the goal, he scored, which was like a tap in. I think Haller is again having the same, critics that we always,
I don't think it will ever change either, Mohammad?
Yeah, actually, it's about, it's a player type, or it's the nature of his, playing style, and that will never be an Ajax material, regardless all the stats that he has so far.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you don't see on the pitch, a good player performing really well, stats will never last for so long. One day he will come, and it will come to happen that he will decline totally. So I think Haller, I'm not satisfied with he was very heavy on the ball. He was not making the link-up play, and he was not able to make those important, let's say, touches that can convert to goals. So I think maybe Klassen was not sharp enough with his playing. Also, he was, he had one let's say clear chance in the first half that he could score, but he was like kind of surprised with the ball, when he received that assist. So I think all in all, the first half was pretty good for the entire team. However, the second half was a real struggle, to be honest.
Yeah.
We had a lot of attacks from Heerenveen coming from both sides, and we were lucky to get away with that because Heerenveen could have scored a goal,
Yeah,
and
they
I should give
had
credit
the header on
to
the.
Pasveer.
Yeah, they had the
Yeah, I
header
think
on
Pasveer
the.
played really, yeah,
Yeah, Pasveer had
exactly.
some good moments, and also the header on the crossbar. That was also a lucky moment.
That it was actually, maybe it could have been different end result if that was a goal, because the whole team was not able to pick or to lift themselves up to score again, or to make really dangerous attacks again. So we should be happy with how this ended up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because I saw your grades, and Tadic had a very high grade. I think you gave him a 9, and I think Blind also a 8. Was it, or a 7?
Yes, I think it was 8 for Blend,
Can you explain
because
to
he
me why so high?
for Blend. Yeah, I think because he was very efficient in the first half with all the attacks, or all the front play he did in the first half was really efficient, and he did really well with those passes that we needed to break the defense of Heerenveen. So I think he defensively also he was covering really well. So we should give him credit there, because this is what we expect from a full left back. So he was
Yeah,
doing really well.
partly that's what I expect from our left back, because Blind is great in his passing, but also defensively we kind of looked weak in the second half with the counterattacks, and it was usually Blind not being on his position and Schuurs having to take over. Now, if we do that with Dortmund, we're going to have a big problem. So would you still play Blind against Dortmund on the left back position?
That's a big argument, I think, because personally, my overall, let's say, situation at the moment, I prefer to have Nico as a left back now, especially that we haven't seen Blend playing really well in recent, let's say, matches. If we look in the overall performance of a Blend in the recent weeks, so I prefer to have Nico on the left back, because Dortmund's game will be very intense, and it will be a very physical game. And we need that physical, and as well as those fast quick attacks from Nico from the left side. I think also in the second half, the first 20 minutes was a big mess for the whole team, because they were like very sloppy, and they were just waiting for the ball, and nobody was like playing off the ball. So that was quite causing those threats from Heerenveen. So I believe such moments against Dortmund will not like pass without any punishment. I believe, because they have their attackers, they have their fast wingers. So I don't believe that we should be mentally playing the Dortmund game in the same way. So, but I think I have seen a statement from Ten Hag after the game, and he admitted that the result is nothing. It gives nothing for the Dortmund's game, and he has to he has to plan for the game really well, and he has to mentally prepare the players for different tactics. So maybe I may criticize Ten Hag for his subs. It was quite surprising for me to have Kudus and Berghuis of the pitch. Maybe I prefer to have maybe Haller and Klaassen instead. Maybe pushing Tadic.
Subs.
Yeah.
First subs. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with that one.
I think pushing, Tadic to number 9, maybe playing Darami on the left. So he should try that because Darami will bring speed. And yeah, I think I don't know, but Ten Hag is sometimes is stubborn about some decisions. It was the right game that he should give Kudus more minutes, but he didn't. Anyway, we hope to see that in the coming matches, despite the hard situation for or the competition over the midfield, especially with Alvarez, who's in full form at the moment.
Exactly. Yeah, and to be honest, Mohammad, also if I look at Kudus, like this was a match. If you're not going to give him minutes against Dortmund, this could be a match to let him just gain the 90 minutes. And why leave Haller on the pitch? I have those same questions as you. I mean, Haller is always the striker that he keeps on the pitch and then substituting him in the 85 minutes for Darami, and who else came in the 85th minute?
I think
no,
it was Taylor or
Kenneth Taylor and Darami came in at that moment. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, these guys deserve much more minutes than these 5 minutes. But yeah, it's Ten Hag. I don't know why he does that. I would have given him at least 15 minutes, but I would have substituted in the second half also much sooner. It's maybe.
Of course, it should happen much more often, now with having, especially in those games, you are like, you need that efficiency in the front line, and you feel like things are not working really well with Haller as a striker. So hopefully against Dortmund, the only thing we need to count on in Dortmund's game, that we start the game really well with high tempo and pressure, and we score.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if we fail to score, I think will be in a real struggle. So I hope things will really work well in Dortmund's game, and we gain the full 9 points in for the first three games. Despite this is not an assurance again, because we have seen the last few seasons what happened. So I hope that game will be the pivot for the next. For the remainder of the season to be the success, that we can achieve,
Exactly. So we should just be happy with today, take some notes, and be ready for the Dortmund game.
Yep, I fully agree with you, and I think let's hope that Ten Hag will really consider the right tactics for Dortmund's game, and we hope that the players will be mentally focused, because this is the first real challenge, I think, for our squad, because there has been so many talks within the media that Ajax may reach very far in the Champions League, or maybe they are unstoppable in the Eredivisie. But it's all about reality at the end of the day. So we have to be realistic about our situation. So Dortmund's game is a real check for us, and I hope it will go really well. So hopefully it will be a win.